The reorder point is the demand on average during those 2 weeks, which is the lead time, plus 1.64 times the standard deviation during the 2 weeks. Because this is the average demand, but sometimes that demand will be larger, and that is why we add this safety stock, which depends on the variability of the demand during the lead time. So first, we need to compute the average demand during those 2 weeks, which is very easy because the weekly demand follows a normal distribution of an average of 300. So if we have 2 weeks of demand, that will mean that we have an average 300 for the first week and 300 for the second week, which is twice the demand of 1 week. So during those 2 weeks, during the lead time, on average, we will have that, but sometimes the demand will be larger. So that is why we need to add some extra amount to calculate the level of inventory, which will we reach it, we will place a new order, and that is this term here. So we need to calculate the standard deviation for those 2 weeks, which is very easy. Standard deviation during 1 week is the square root of 2 times the normal, the variance of 1 week, which is the square root of twice 200 to the power of 2, which is this figure here, and eventually we do the calculation, it's 282.84 items. So we now can substitute here, and what we get is that this term, the second term here, is 1.64 times this standard deviation, which is that here. It's 1.64 times 282.84, which is roughly 463 items. This is our safety stock, and our average demand is 600. So when we are selling these BQ phones and we find that our inventory level falls to a value of 1063, we will place a new order, and that will allow us to meet the demand during the 2 weeks that we have to wait for that order to arrive. Most of the times will be okay because we've placed a cycle service level of 95%. So only 5% of the times the demand will be larger than this value here. And the rest of the times the demand will be less than this, so we won't have stockouts. And that's because to those 600 we added this 463, which is the safety stock. Because to finish, if we just do not add any safety stock, if we place an order when we reach an inventory level of 600, half the time we'll have stockouts. So this safety stocks allows to reduce the likelihood of having stockouts to 5%.